Hello guys, this is Kira, and today I'm going to bring you a preview of a Diablo 2 mod that I have been playing for a while. It's called MedianXL. It is a mod made by Brother Laz, who is an individual producer of this mod, and just to give you a little explanation of what I'm doing here, I'm using the latest patch of Diablo 2 and the plug Y add-on, which allows me to share a stash and do a lot of other convenient things. But today, as you can see, I already have some characters here, but I'm going to make a new character just to show you what this game is all about. Alright, so without items, usually you're quite limited in what you can use, so I'm just going to use something that's kind of spellcaster-like. So let's just go ahead and make a Sorceress.
The tempest is at your command.
Okay, and then we'll just name her something nice. How about that? We're not going to go hardcore because I'm just showing you I'm probably going to die because I'm just noob like that. But okay, here we go. So it starts off just the same. I have it set to players 8 just to increase the drop rate and to increase the experience that I get. And then we start off pretty much the same as the regular Diablo 2. As you can see, the quest window is quite the same. Okay, we go to our inventory. We have the same amount of items we can wear, but we have some new items here. This is the Pearl of Wisdom. If you put this into your Heraldic Cube, which you start with in this mod, this is actually a very important tool throughout the game, but I'll explain that later. If you put this into your Heraldic Cube and you transmute it, it will cycle through a variety of different hints. For example, here you have defense penalty. If you're running, then you have 0 defense, so that's not advisable in this game. Okay, and then here we have damage bonus. You do more weapon damage if you have higher strength and or dexterity, and that depends on which weapon you're using. And so on and so forth. They have different other hints, summoning uber quests, uber levels, just to tell you more about, you know, like the kind of extra features that he's done to this mod, which is a lot. So here we have our stash with the plug Y add-on. You have an option of sharing stash, which I have from my previous characters. Or you can just play with a personal stash, but you can save as many items as you want. You basically have infinite space. You can also take gold, but we're not going to use that here because we want to play legitimately. But you can also share your store your gold by doing it the original way in Diablo 2. And then you can also withdraw here. So that's the rules for this Let's Play. All the regular characters are back. Here's Charcy. She can repair and trade you some weapons and things. There's a whole bunch of new items here. I think I'll go over these individually as I use them. And besides that, we look like we're all set. We're gonna head out. We're gonna just say hi to Geed here. Sup, Geed? Good day to you, partner. You can still gamble with him. Yeah, that's it. Like, you can gamble. Gambling is just the same as Diablo 2. You start off with a bunch of town portals, and you can also buy some more from a car, just like usual. These orbs are called mystic orbs, and basically you can use a special recipe using the Heraldic Cube in order to add bonuses to your items. So this says here, like, cube with item to add bonus. It can be any item, but there are also ones which are more particular, like cube with ring or amulet to add bonus. So some of these can only be added to restricted items. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to sell these for a little bit of gold. This one is just a little charm. There's going to be no charms in this mod. Instead, you're going to have different methods of getting bonuses. So that's that. And then we have about 10 town portals and 4 extra potions. the way potion works in this mod is that it doesn't restore a set number of HP. It actually regenerates your life 100% in 10 seconds. So 10% of your life per second. So right now it would be 6 life per second. That's actually very useful because it actually speeds up the amount of speeds up your downtime, which is very, very convenient. Alright, so when you look at our skills, we start with School of Town Portal, which I'm going to map to F12 right now. We have our normal attack. We can throw a weapon if we had a throwable weapon. We can summon creatures, basically like the necromancers summon skeletons, but there's a whole new bunch of monsters that you can summon. Excuse me. And then you have Force Wall. Force Wall is a unique skill for the Sorceress, and you can see its description underneath. It says lasts for 2 seconds and has an 8-second skill timer. A skill timer just means that there's a group of skills which are usually greater than average in power, and once you use one of those spells, all spells of that family have a cooldown, an external cooldown, and for this particular spell it will be 8 seconds. And as you can see, as you grow in character level, it reduces the skill timer, so when you reach level 100, as it says here, then there's no skill timer on this. And this particular ability, let me just show it off here by going out here. It creates a wall, and this wall is not penetrable by any... Whoa! Okay, that's amazing. So, as you can see, our first enemy has already attacked us. Yikes. I'm gonna heal up and let's go kill that monster. What is it? It's a rat. It's a kill rat. And it has an ability. It's homing spikes explodes on death. So as you can see, it shoots out it shoots out little needles and they come back after a certain distance, and then when you kill it, it explodes in a spike nova. That could get dangerous, if you ask me, because when you get hit by the needle, it seems to poison you as well. So that's not good. Alright, we're gonna kill this guy too. Alright, and then they drop treasures when they die. There's a chance to. This one drops a light mana potion. A light mana potion. Let's see what it does. It gives me additional mana regeneration for a certain amount of time. And then here's a mystic orb. You can pick it up and you can just have one of these for free. Of course, it's done at random, so you can't exactly choose which one you want. So this particular gives me a 1% chance to cast level 3 Thunder Hammer whenever I kill an enemy. As you can see, the mystic orb, each one that you use adds 2 to the required level of the item you apply it to. So that's kind of important so that you don't put too many of them on an item that you have, otherwise you might not be able to wear it. And then if you add levels to an item which bring it above the maximum character level, which I believe in this game is 121, then you can't wear that item at all. So you need to be careful when you add mystic orbs. You might make your item unequipable, and that would just basically waste everything you ever added onto that armor. So that would be quite devastating. Wow! As a sorceress, I don't know if I can take all these skeletons on. Oh, but I had leveled up. That's great. I'm gonna head back into town, or just over here. Now the stats here, you get 5 per level. I'm gonna just kill these guys while I'm explaining. So you get 5 stat points per level, and then you can add them into one of 4 categories: strength, dexterity, vitality, or energy. Strength improves your physical swing weapons like swords and hammers, axes, things like that. Dexterity is the same thing as strength, except it increases the chance that you can hit with your weapon, as well as increasing the damage of ranged weapons or things that require dexterity instead of strength. There are a couple of melee weapons that do that too. Oh, so they dropped an amulet. Let's take a look at the amulet. It's unidentified. So we need a particular item called the Scroll of Identity, which will allow us to see what kind of magic properties are on magic items. And the way you can tell an item is magic is if you look at its title. If its title is written in blue, it's magic. Mystic orbs will be orange, and regular items will be white, like Scroll of Town Portal, Minor Healing Potion, and just normal equipment like this one. This one is gray, and the reason it's gray is because it has a socket. Sockets allow you to insert gems, jewels, and some other I think actually that's just the two things you can insert into socketed, but you can create interesting items this way, because in this game you can have jewel words, which are basically the same thing as rune words from Diablo 2, except you use jewels and gems instead of just a bunch of runes. And the way that rune words works in this mod is also different, but I'll explain that once I get to making rune words. So now let's go back to the character. So now we leveled up twice. We're level 3 now, so we have 2 times 5 or 10 points to spend. And I was done explaining dexterity, so here's vitality. Vitality increases the amount of life you have. And that's basically, if your life gets reduced to 0, just like any RPG, you die. And when you die, you get sent back to your starting town if you're not in hardcore mode, and then you are unequipped of all your items. They're just laying out in the wilderness, and you have to go get them back. So that's quite troublesome, and you don't want to die a lot. Energy is the stat for mana. Mana is the resource that you use to cast spells. As a sorceress, we are a pure spellcaster. We don't do very well swinging our weapons around. So energy is going to be one of the 4 stats that I'll be really focusing on. Another one will be vitality, and then for these 2, strength and dexterity, I'm going to apply them as I need them for my items. Because there are requirements for wearing certain kinds of items that require strength or dexterity. And if you don't have that number, then you can't equip that item. So I will be applying that as I need them. And one very cool feature now is that when you add points to a certain stat, if you hold down Alt, you can actually reduce the number and get back your stat points on a 1-to-1 ratio. You don't lose any. So you can actually just basically add them to anything you want, and then you can always adjust them as you need. So for now, I'll just put them onto vitality. That'll increase my health by 20, so that's good. Now we go over to this one, and we see we have our skill tab. So let me just take you through the Sorceress's skill tree, and then after that, I'm just going to take a break and continue next time. So we have 4 schools of magic, and we have an arcane. So the arcane is actually titled mana abilities. So under mana abilities, we have Moonstrike. What this is, it's kind of like a alternative choice for Sorceress. In case you are very tired of having pure spellcasters, they do offer you an option of becoming a fighter mage. But in my opinion, unless you are very, very experienced at this game, you should probably stick to just casting magic. But Moonstrike is basically a regular attack, but when you use this skill, it increases your damage, and the damage increases per level that you spend into this ability, and it increases your maximum life, which is very, very useful. I mean, I can see how your life can get a very significant boost by using this ability. The duration is 2 seconds, and the mana cost is 3 at level 1. Of course, those might go up, I'm not sure. For our second ability, we have Familiar. This one summons an untargetable feline familiar. So this is a unkillable summon, which means you can't control what it does either, but it'll just basically stay with you and do what it does. So what it does is it creates an aura, and this aura allows you to have a faster cast rate, which is very, very nice. It gives you a bonus to energy, which is also very nice. And it gives you a bonus to your skill levels. This is probably an incredible ability, and I don't know why I haven't looked at this before. I will definitely be investing in this ability. And it does damage on the side, so that's quite nice. It does cost a very significant amount of mana though. 80 mana, and if you look at how much mana I have right now, I only have 65. So, yeah, this is a very nice ability. I will definitely be using this. And then, you can see that if you... Oh, okay, so this one has a synergy, and the synergy is through your energy stat. So for every point of energy that you add in your character screen, it actually gives a damage boost to this this untargetable creature, which I don't think is that significant at all, but it's just a nice side effect. And then it has self synergy, which means that as you invest into this skill, it adds bonuses to itself as kind of a like, thank you for investing in this skill, here's a little bonus. So what this does, if you invest a lot of points into this, for every 4 levels that you invest, you get an additional +1 to all your skill levels when you're under the aura. So, as I say, this only gives me more incentive to invest into this skill. Very nice. Next one is Arcane Torrent. This one says, strike enemies in front of you with the power of mana. So, let's see. So, it does damage in 2 ways, in regular damage or physical damage, equal to 10 or 15% of your current mana. And then, it also adds magic damage, which is a percentage of your maximum mana. That is very nice. And there is a limit to the damage that it adds, which is at 25,000 mana. So, at the very most, at this level, level 1, you can do between 2,500 and 5,000 damage per cast. That's pretty cool. I believe this shoots out in a almost 180 degree arc in front of you. So that's a pretty nice ability. Next we have Mana Sweep. This one is very useful actually, because it restores your lost mana. What it does is basically it creates a mana stealing nova. So basically a shockwave that expands 360 degrees around your character and sucks up all the mana that you lost. So if you have a very large mana pool, say 25,000, and you somehow lost all your mana, and then you casted this, then basically you will be dealing 25,000 to basically 37,500 damage at level 1 to everyone around you, and then ending up with your entire mana glow back. That's like incredible. I've gotta say, that's quite impressive, but I will not be going on this route. Lastly, in this tree we have Blade Storm. Melee attack that unleashes magical homing blades. So basically this one just allows you to multi-hit. I guess just from the sheer number of homing blades this one alludes to, I would say that this increases your damage many times over. So this one will be a very nice single target boss killer ability. I believe that's what it's for. Now let's go on to... I'm going to skip this column here because that's a very unique one. Next we have, in our lightning tree, we have 5 abilities, starting with Forked Lightning. This one basically you unleash a lightning bolt which creates a little area of lightning which damages your enemies. And this one does a very small amount of damage, but you know, it can do significant damage as you level it up. This is kind of like a low area AoE monster cleaner, so That's what it does. Next we have Thunderstone. This is the single target killer for the lightning tree. What this does is, this one, you lob a Thunderstone onto your target, and when it hits the ground, it creates a bunch of charged bolts from Diablo 2. And because of the ability for charged bolts to stack on, like basically if you stack on top of charged bolts, then they all hit you at the same time. So this one is extremely good against a single target, because when they land right on the target, it hits that monster. Like each of them will hit that monster, which is a lot of damage. Next we have Tempest. What this does is, for every enemy up to the limit that it says, so this one the limit is 6, because it says first level releases 6 bolts. So up to 6 enemies next to you will each take a lightning bolt. So this is very nice for clearing off masses of monsters. Next is a passive called Warp Armor. This one is very, very strong if you want survivability. It gives you 5% chance to dodge attacks. That means it negates the attack completely. No effects, no damage, nothing. That's really, really nice. It works for both magic and physical damage. On the side, it also gives you a bonus to your character's defense. Now, I don't think that will be as significant, but if you have a lot of defense from your items, then this one would create a very nice additional bonus to that. So, going on to the last one, we have Nova Charge. This one basically is like it's like the Paladin's elemental auras, in which it occasionally affects all nearby enemies with an effect. And this one, it creates like an electric nova. So basically, it's nice additional damage, crowd control, but not a very strong single target. So that's a lightning tree. Next, we'll do the poison tree. The first skill we have here is the Lornado. This is basically a whirlwind, and if it goes over the enemy, it'll poison them. It does pretty significant damage. I wouldn't say anything bad about it, but that's what it is. Next we have Vengeful Power. This is kind of a reactionary passive. When someone hits you, then for a short duration you gain bonuses. And the bonuses you get here is that you reduce the damage taken by percentage, and then you have a chance to do a crushing blow on your opponent. That reduces their HP by 33% on the first difficulty, if I remember correctly. It might have been changed due to the mod, but I don't exactly know. But that's basically the idea of crushing blow. Next, it also gives you a bonus to your spell damage, and it lasts for 5 seconds. Next, we have Miasma, which basically creates a poison field. When enemies walk into the poison field, they become poisoned, and then there's some other side effects like reducing their damage, reducing their ability to hit you, and it slows them down. But the duration is kind of low for 1 second, so you have to basically sit and kite them within the field if you want to do anything significant. Otherwise, it'll just kind of recover and then be right on your ass again. Next, we have Carpet of Spiders. This one's pretty nice. This is like a charge bolt, except with poison. So you erase those spiders that come out in an arc in front of you, and then any target that the spiders pass over becomes significantly poisoned, and they take tremendous damage. That's very nice, and it's able to be spammed, and I've used this ability in the past, and it's very, very nice. Lastly, we have Hive. Hive basically creates a swarm which is not attackable, and as they come near you, they all become poisoned. So as you can see, this one is basically like a very utility based ability, and then you combine this with other damage dealing abilities in order to create lots of damage and take them down that way. It has a bonus of turning your base vitality into energy, not trading it, but adding a percentage of your base vitality and adding it to your energy stat. So this can increase the amount of damage that you do due to your energy bonus. Let's see. Let's go on to the last tab. We have the Fire Tree. The first one is Flame Front. This one is your very basic, you throw fireballs in front of you, and then if they contact your enemy, they take damage. Nothing more to say about that, but it can be rather impressive. It does a decent amount of damage. Next we have Living Flame. This one is one of my favorite ones because I tend to like life regeneration and having lots of life. So this one increases your life by a flat number. In level 1 it increases by 20. And then it has Self Synergy, which increases your life in increasing returns. So if you have more skill points invested in this ability, you actually get more and more life per point invested. It also gives you a regenerate life, which is, they tell you in a very convenient translation, for the first level you get 1 life per second. I believe that one also grows exponentially, so that's pretty nice too. Next we have Flame Strike. This one calls down a pillar from the sky, so basically you target it and then after a while it rains fire down at that point and kind of expands in a circle. So kind of first it's pinpoint and then after a while it kind of grows larger and larger in a circular fashion, dealing fire damage. Yeah, that's that one. You can stack it too, so if the enemy is not moving, you can just continue casting this on that non-moving object over and over again. It'll just keep doing more and more damage. That's very, very nice. This will be your single target killer as long as you can hold your opponent to not moving. Next we have Pyroblast. This one basically unleashes a ball like Molten Boulder, I believe, from the Diablo 2 Druid spell, Molten Boulder. Basically it knocks them back and deals damage, so as long as they're standing on the fire, they're taking damage. Lastly, we have Fire Dance. This is a new skill. Let me take a look at this too. Circle of sacred fire that empowers spells cast within. So basically what this sounds like to me is that if it casts a spell in which you gain a buff while you're inside that circle, it gives you pretty nice really nice bonuses. It lasts for 30 seconds first of all, and the spell time is only 10 seconds, so you can always have this active. Increases your attack speed by 25%. This could be used with the melee Sorc, but more importantly, this also increases your elemental damages by 25%. That can make a huge difference. You're basically killing your monsters in about 3/4 the regular time. Alright, let's move on to the last tree for cold. The first one you have Shadow of the Flesh. This is Corpse Explosion from the Necromancer ability in Diablo 2, except it freezes them instead of just doing massive damage. This can be a very, very convenient crowd control ability, as well as taking care of those really annoying fallen shamans, the ones that, like, you know, the little dudes who always get rezzed by their shaman. Yeah, so you can take out their corpses this way and then also freeze over their little roving band and take them out that way, and they won't be a nuisance at all. Pretty nice ability. Next we have Frigid Sphere. This is kind of like you kind of shoot out a ball at your target, and once it gets to the point that you targeted, it creates a frost nova there. So you know, that's kind of just basically what it is. You use it as it is. It slows down the enemies and does some damage to them. So that's also a crowd control ability, except you can use it without having a corpse. Maybe that's why it's different from Shadow of the Flesh. Next we have Snow Queen. This one increases your defense and increases your maximum life. So this one is basically like a combination of Warp Armor and Living Flame without the other bonus, which I feel is more of the essence of the other bonus. So this one's kind of like the middle of the road. You take what you get. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next we have this skill called Abyss. This one creates a whirling vortex of frost around a target point. This one is like a fire front, flame front, right? Flame strike. Basically, as long as they stay in the area, they take cold damage. So You can stack this one too, but also slows them so they stay in there even if you can't hold them as well as you can for Flame Strike. Lastly, we have Summon Ice Elementals. Earlier I mentioned that there are a lot of new summons in this game. This is the one for the Sorceress. These guys are very, very nice. They can do this ability called Glacial Nova, as you can see. It starts off at level 6. Even though there's a 1% chance, you do get multiple summons of these. So you can think of it in level 1 as a 5% chance to cast level 6 Glacial Nova, even though it's not entirely accurate. You can just think of it that way. Later you can get more elementals too, so that chance to cast that Nova is very nice. What that Nova does is a screen-wide freezing Nova. So once that triggers, every monster on the screen will be frozen for quite a significant amount of time. This can really help you stack some damage spells on your enemies. Next, it also increases your defense by a multiple of 50%, and it also has a Frost Armor aura, which reduces all the damage by 25% on top of your defense increase. So that's very, very nice aura. They have pretty good life and damage, but I don't think that'll be comparable to what you're doing with your spells. So, okay. Oh, and on another note, these summons also gain the bonuses of your other passives. So if you have Snow Queen, their defense and health also increase. If you have Living Flame, their regeneration and max HP also increase. If they have Vengeful Power, then whenever they're struck, then their spell damage gets increased, which, if you think about it, that's very, very nice. So that could make a very good combination. Or if you took Warp Armor, then your summons will have increased defense rating and they have a chance to dodge attacks. The gimmick with the Sorceress is that out of the last 4, Poison, Lightning, Cold, and Fire, you can only put points into 2 of them. You cannot do 3 of them. So you cannot just invest in all 4 passives and just focus on your elementals. That won't work. You can only choose 2 of them. So that's the gimmick for the Sorceress. Now for the ultimate Sorceress abilities, when you reach level 90, you're allowed to pick one of these 3 abilities. That's your ultimate ability. They're very, very strong, and that's why they're limited to when you approach the late game. The first one you have here is a Chrono Field. What this does is it slows down the speed of all the monsters. When they refer to all speeds, they mean attack speed, move speed, casting speed, all of those things. So they're basically all reduced by 20%, and that will obviously increase when you put more points into it. That's a very good ability. It allows you to get out of a bind, and if you're being overwhelmed, you can just cast this and basically back up and regroup yourself. That can be a very good crowd control ability, as well as you can also stack more of those Flame Strike or Vortex abilities. Next we have Witch Blood. This is a passive, and basically as long as your life, your HP, your red globe is full, your spells do more damage. So that's really, really nice. It can increase your damage significantly. And finally we have Baneblade. This is the ultimate ability for your melee Sorc, and basically allows you to gain bonuses in a variety of different melee aspects, such as increasing your chance of blocking, increasing your damage by a very large whopping 180%, which is tripling your damage per strike. And then you also gain the ability to steal life on each hit. That can be useful too. And then next you also increase your velocity. Velocity is your attack and move speed. I doubt that it also affects your cast speed, but you won't be casting much in a melee Sorc anyway. Your defense also gets a boost, and it lasts for 6 minutes. 20 minutes, sorry. Okay, so, and then you have 2 more abilities. This one is called your I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's the Ennead Challenge Reward Skill. basically there's going to be a challenge level which you can undergo, in which you go into a skeleton city and then you have to kill the necromancers who are raising an army of undead to take over the world. And for killing each necromancer, they drop a random class charm, one for each class meaning sorceress or paladin or barbarian or something like that. If you can get your sorceress stone, and you're also less than level 90, then you can do something with the Harajuku cube to activate it. And when you do, you gain access to the skill. When you gain access to the skill, of which you have to be level 90 or above, so you don't get it immediately upon getting your stone, but you can use the ability with the stone after you get to level 90. So what this does is that you can transform a health and mana potion in order to create this object called the moon symbol. And then basically what you do is that when you use a moon symbol, it restores your life and mana by 1000. So it's kind of like an upgraded potion, and it's very, very useful if you get into trouble and take damage. Lastly, we have Arcane Fury, and this is a Black Road challenge. This is something you undertake in the second level of difficulty in this game, and it requires you to go through all sorts of different tasks, and if you're able to complete it, then you do something with the Harajuku cube again, and you're able to activate this skill. And what this skill does is that when you cast it, it gives that unit, you can cast it on you or any unit that you like, and increases their cast rate and their velocity by a significant amount. And this lasts for 1 minute, and the spell timer is 10 seconds. So this one basically allows you to multiply the effectiveness of your character by a certain percentage. And that is your introduction to the Sorceress. And I know I talked a lot, and there's a lot of information to take in at once. But next time we're going to go and start our first quest, and we're going to see where it takes us. Thank you for watching this very long video, and I hope you'll come back for the next episode. Have a nice day. See you.